my freshman year of college, I finally started going to the gym regularly. And not only was I in a new city, new environment, new gym, but it was my first time in the gym. And sometimes those social norms are really, really hard to learn. Hi, my name is Jaycee. I am a college student, personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and dance educator. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 gym etiquette tips that you might not know that might really improve your experience in the gym. So whether you're just looking to refresh on those skills, whether you're kind of a little apprehensive about going to the gym, I just want you to know this is a safe space and we're gonna have some really honest conversations about all of these 10 tips. If at any point you have your own thoughts and ideas on this video, you've got something you want to add, I'm gonna welcome you to comment down below. Maybe we disagree, let's have a conversation down in the comments. And as always, if you're interested in fitness, group fitness, personal training content, please subscribe, like this video, and just check out my channel for more videos. I've got so many fun things coming up. My last video was 15 things I don't do as a gym girl, so go check that one out. See if you agree or disagree with me. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So these are 10 tips that I think are pretty solid on gym etiquette, and if you follow these 10 tips, I think you're gonna have a pretty good experience in the gym. Without further ado, tip number 1 is please wipe down your equipment. Now the reason behind this is that we're sweating in the gym and that sweat's gonna get on the equipment, and that's kind of gross. So most gyms offer some sort of towel, paper towel spray, like wipe down thing, like wipe it down. Please, especially if you're like sitting on a bench or using something like that. I would honestly wipe down your dumbbells too, but just wipe things down, keep it clean for the next person. And if you're unsure if something was wiped down or not, wipe it down before you work out and after. Tip number 2 is put away your equipment when you're done using it. This should feel like common sense, but somehow it isn't. I think my biggest gripe is when someone is using like something involving plates, like a squat rack, a bench press, Smith machine, and they leave a bunch of really heavy plates on it because you don't know who's gonna be using that machine after you or that piece of equipment, and you don't know what their physical abilities are. So in my instance, yes, I can lift those 45-pound plates, but I have back issues, and so that's gonna really bother my back to do so. And so it's just a really big inconvenience that might seriously harm someone. So put your dumbbells away, put your kettlebells away, please put your plates and barbells away, just because you don't know what everyone else's abilities are, especially if you're someone who's lifting more of those heavy weights. Speaking about the dumbbell racks in particular, tip number 3 for your gym etiquette is when you're using your dumbbells, take a few steps away from the rack. I know you guys have all seen like someone on TikTok or someone even in person who picks up the dumbbells, stands at the rack, blocking the rest of the dumbbells, and does their set. And I understand the logic behind it. It's quick, it's simple, but someone near you might need to get to the dumbbells that you're blocking. Also, you're blocking the mirror view for people trying to check their form. So take a few steps away from it, at least enough space that you can allow someone through. Now, if the argument is like, well, I can't like physically bring that weight with me, maybe we're not ready for that weight yet if we can't physically bring it with us off of the rack to our spot. Tip number 4 is give people around you adequate space. It's always really, really uncomfortable when someone invades our personal bubble, and so we want to make sure at the gym, especially when it's really crowded, that we're still giving people space. And what I mean by this is, especially if it's really crowded, keep all your stuff together. Maybe we can stack our phone and keys on top of each other and have them leaning up against our water bottle rather than having it like da 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 da. Use like 2 dumbbells at a time and put them back when you're done with them. Don't be pacing around the gym, like kind of stay in your spot, give people the space that they deserve, because we're all going to the gym because we want to feel better in our bodies, and the gym is already a really intimidating and really uncomfortable space. As a personal trainer, I make a point to really try to stay out of people's way, because I know that as a personal trainer working with my clients, like that's automatically going to make some people uncomfortable, and so I want to make sure I'm giving respect to everyone else around me in the gym. Number 5, this is about how to properly ask someone how many sets they have left, or like ask to work in with someone. So I want to make this really clear. It is 100% appropriate to ask someone how many sets they have left and or ask if you can work in with someone. But we got to look at the situations in doing so. So number 1, you're going to want to look at what that person's body language is. It is not appropriate to go and ask someone a question while they are doing a lift or right before they're preparing for a lift. So make sure that that person's like very obviously resting in between their sets when you go to ask someone, because if you're asking while they're doing a lift, it can be very distracting and lead to a potentially dangerous form compromising situation, and we don't want that to happen. Number 2, when we're asking, let's say someone asks, how many sets do you have left? And they respond with 1. Okay, take a few steps back, wait for them to do their 1 set, and then take over. You're welcome to do that. The issue becomes is when you keep standing there and you're breathing down that person's neck, invading their personal bubble and making them feel like they need to rush, which again, potentially compromising their form. Just take a few steps back. When working in with someone, I say it is very appropriate to work in on any sort of like pin machine where you're moving a pin where the weight is very easy to change. So that would be like our leg press, lat pull down, something like that, leg extension. When in regards to barbells or bench, if someone is benching significantly more or significantly less than you would, it's not appropriate to ask to work in because that is so many plate changes. Like, that's significant strain. You're just honestly wasting everyone's time and you're probably better off just waiting your turn. So working in on sets where it's convenient to work in and it's not a ton of strain. Gym etiquette tip number 6 is supersets. A-okay. Supersets with multiple pieces of equipment that aren't really close by each other are not as okay. Supersets are great. They're an amazing way to train. I utilize them as a personal trainer. However, when we do supersets, let's try to either have it be the same piece of equipment, dumbbells, or something like 2 free weight options, dumbbells and kettlebells, dumbbells and a free barbell. Or if we're using equipment, have it be like cable, but I'm using both sides of the cable machine, or cable, but I'm gonna move the attachment up or down, or switch the attachment. When we're doing supersets, we don't wanna be going from one side of the gym to the other and reserving equipment. It's just, why would you do that? You know? The only thing I would say on supersets is acceptable for like reserving 2 pieces of equipment are like, let's say the hamstring curl and the leg extension are like right next to each other and you're with another person. And one person does the leg extension and your other friend does the hamstring curl and then you'll switch. I would say that is appropriate, but that's just about it. Number 7, and I was debating putting this one in, but I think a big part of gym etiquette is that if you are doing a heavy lift and you need a spotter because you know you cannot spot yourself, you better ask for a spotter. And I say this because from my standpoint as a personal trainer, it is so uncomfortable to watch someone who needs a spotter not have one, because then I'm not focusing on my workout. I'm focused on the fact that I don't want you to get hurt. And you can kind of tell when someone needed a spotter from the get-go and they knew that they did, versus when someone just kind of encounters a really weird set and it's just that quick moment. Because when someone knew they need a spotter from the beginning, they're shaky on rep 1 and then they keep going, you know? So those are the situations I'm talking about. I'm not talking about when you just run into a problem that you can't expect. I'm talking about the people who are like shaky on all of their reps. Ask for spotters, ask for it respectfully, ask someone who looks like they're resting, someone who you think could help you lift the weight. And most people don't mind getting asked to spot. The few times that I've been asked to spot someone, I've been very grateful that they asked me rather than try to attempt that on their own. And when you're asking for a spotter, always communicate what you want. Tell them how many reps you're planning on doing. Tell them if you want them to help you set up or help you put back. Tell them if you want assist and how you will communicate that you want assist to them. Set your spotter up for a position where they're not feeling really anxious of, oh my gosh, what do I do if he does need an assist? So communicate very clearly. Don't be that person who needed a spotter and then is failing and potentially injuring themselves. Gym etiquette tip number 8. We're gonna talk about both giving and receiving unsolicited advice. So I'm gonna approach this from the personal training perspective. I often see people doing things wrong in the gym, like wrong form, a crappy exercise, stuff like that. In my opinion, it's not my place to give anyone advice because they don't want to hear it. I don't know their reasoning for making that choice, and they're not gonna put themselves at risk for injury. Only time when I would ever give unsolicited advice is if I think someone's gonna break a bone or have like a traumatic injury. Other than that, it's not my place to say something unless someone asks me first. Unless you think there is going to be a traumatic injury, don't give advice you don't know their reasoning for it. I remember there was a time where Elsie, my girlfriend, and I were in the gym and we were doing tricep kickbacks because we just weren't as comfortable using a cable machine. And a guy came up to us and we were doing our set and we were resting, and he was there for like, I would say a good minute and a half, like waiting for us to be resting and like give him time of day. And he comes up to us and he was like, you know, that's just not an effective exercise. It's so much more effective to do it with a cable. And I acknowledged it and I was like, I know, I'm not comfortable doing it with a cable. Just wasn't at that point yet, you know? And it's just like, there was no reason to give that advice. There's just no reason to do it. And I think it makes gym intimidation a lot stronger because, again, you gotta recognize so many people are scared to go to the gym because of people that give unsolicited advice. Now, in terms of receiving unsolicited advice, unless someone is being really rude and harassing you, in my opinion, just take it with a smile, explain your reasoning if you feel comfortable, and move on with your day. I wouldn't pitch an argument. I think most people are very well-meaning. However, I I still don't think we should be giving explicit or unsolicited advice in the gym. Number 8, don't make loud, obnoxious noises. We all know those people. Like, I have literally looked around in the gym and said to Elsie, like, is that what I'm hearing right now? And I was talking with another PT client about it, a client of mine, and he gave me the insight. He was like, I think men make so much noise in the gym because we have so much testosterone that we need to release. And obviously he was joking. It just made me think, like, I think a lot of the noise that we hear in the gym is very performative. Because sometimes you're working really hard. Like, I've caught myself going like, oh, during a workout, but it's quiet. It's not obnoxious. And the only person that can hear it is the person I'm working out with. And then we laugh about it. We have a good time. And the other thing with loud, obnoxious noises, if you're talking with a friend, keep the volume down. And we're all guilty of being too loud in public sometimes, but like if you habitually are that kind of person who is so loud at the gym that you notice that whenever you talk, people turn and look at you and they have headphones on, maybe we need to take the volume down a little bit. I think the gym is a time where a lot of people go to relax, and so let's respect that and let's make it a safe space for everyone. And my final gym etiquette tip, we're gonna talk about cell phone usage for tip number 10. Is cell phone usage in the gym bad? No, that's your you time. Here's where I kind of think, here's where the lines are. So does your phone need to be on silent? Not necessarily. I don't think a text tone or like if someone calls you, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Should you answer a call in the gym? Again, I think it depends. If someone calls you, you know it's gonna be quick, answer it, be respectful about it. Like, don't be yelling all your business. Don't have it on speaker, but like be respectful, take it down. If you are the kind of person who is FaceTiming someone the whole time you're working out, I also think that depends, because I've seen people do it in a really respectful way. The other day I was training a client and I saw a girl kind of in the corner. She had her phone set up in the corner where the camera wasn't on anyone else, and she was very obviously FaceTiming her friend, and I think they were like doing a workout together is kind of what I gathered. And I thought that was a very respectful way to do it, because the camera wasn't on anyone, she wasn't being loud and obnoxious, she had headphones in, it wasn't obnoxious. But I've also seen a guy, and she stayed in one place the whole time. The other instance where I've seen it is I saw a guy in the gym who would bring his phone. He was on FaceTime with someone who was not working out with him. Phone was on speaker. He was bringing it to all of his stations, like all the equipment, and he was setting it up away from the equipment, and like other people were in the camera. And I think if you're gonna be on your phone, if you're gonna be on FaceTime, if you're gonna be like talking on the phone, do it in a respectful way for everyone else around you. Also, cell phone usage during rest sets. Use your phone during your rest. Sometimes when I'm working out by myself, I put rest timers on, but don't be the person who does the excessive rest. I'm gonna say, rest-wise, I'm gonna be so for real and I'm not talking about powerlifting. I'm not talking about anyone who competes for bodybuilding. I'm not talking about powerlifting. I'm talking about gen pop. If you're doing really heavy compound movements, yeah, for some of them, you're gonna need a full 3 minutes of rest. Once we get into those isolation exercises, we really only need 90 seconds of rest for a lot of things. 60 to 90 seconds of rest after those really big compound lifts. And even for a lot of our compound lifts, sometimes we only need 2 minutes. You don't need more than 3 minutes though. For gen pop, hypertrophy goal, functional training. That's the other thing. The last thing I want to talk about is when you're listening to music in the gym, put headphones in, do not have it out loud. And if you're listening to music, I know sometimes we hum, we sing, and like we can't help it, but like that's different than like intentionally singing for the world to hear. And like that just annoys me so much. Because how are you not aware of it? That's kind of my thing. Those are my gym etiquette tips. If you have any differing ideas, any other tips you'd like to add, please comment them down below. Let's get a nice discussion going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate your support here. Again, I'm an ACE certified group fitness instructor and ACE certified personal trainer. So this channel is all about fitness and making fitness accessible and educational for all. So if there's any videos you would like to see from me, please leave me a comment down below and I will work to make that happen. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Have an amazing rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one.